Hey, Tref Life, Tulsa Real Estate Fund family. It's Tuesday night. This is tref-talks Tuesday. Just peace to you all. I'm also going to be blogging for a little bit from my personal Instagram at Mr. Jay-Morrison, but we do this every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. I break up my work day because I'm working 12 to 18 hour days. So I break my work day up at 6 p.m. to give you guys this Tulsa Talks live podcast. I want to welcome everybody out. I am Jay Morrison, CEO and founder of the historic Tulsa Real Estate Fund, the country's first black-owned real estate crowdfund in history. Behind me is our multi-million-dollar portfolio with some new assets, acquisitions, and opportunities being vetted right now for our fund, and with a major announcement for the Legacy Center, aka the Black House, coming soon to East Point, Georgia, Atlanta Metro, 5 minutes from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, in an opportunity zone. We are empowering our community through this economic empowerment center behind me, the Legacy Center, which is a co-working space, media studio, economic empowerment center, wealth education, financial resource center. We are going to bring Black Wall Street to the Black House. So in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, for those who don't know, every night, 6 p.m. Eastern, we do what's called Tref Talks Tuesday. That's this little platform. For those on my Instagram, I'm going to be ending shortly. You're going to have to go to Tulsa Real Estate Fund to watch this full live. You got to go to our Tulsa Real Estate Fund page. I'm giving you guys a little sample tonight. I'm actually going to pin it for you. But for many of you, people say, well, are you in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Are you from Tulsa? And we say we are not. We actually, our headquarters are here in Atlanta. I'm from New Jersey. But Tulsa Real Estate Fund was named Tulsa Real Estate Fund after Black Wall Street. For those who don't know, there were many Black Wall Street or self-sustaining Black communities throughout the 1900s in America. One of the most notable Black communities, self-sustaining, thriving Black communities, was the Black community of Tulsa, Oklahoma, they call Greenwood or Black Wall Street. I personally have multiple times in real life been to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was built up from about 1905 to 1921. It was built up by the leader, visionary, and founder, O.W. Gurley, was a Mississippi businessman who migrated to Tulsa town called Tulsa, Oklahoma, bought 40 acres of land, and then because of segregation and Jim Crow laws, was forced to only sell that land to other Black people. He then partnered with J.W. Stafford and other Black entrepreneurs, and over a period of less than 20 years, they built up over 2,000 homes and businesses, over 36 square blocks of commercial and residential real estate that included their own airplanes, their own bus lines, their own movie theaters, their own hospitals, their own schools, their own tailors, their own bars, their own cleaners, their own everything self-sustained, Black-owned. I believe it's on the north side of Greenwood, called Black Wall Street or Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so our fund pays homage to that community, which in under less than 20 years was able to build up this 36 square blocks. It unfortunately was bombed from the sky. The local sheriff's department bombed this community, and racist white counterparts from across the tracks, literally, came over and began to kill hundreds of Black residents in this community of 36 square blocks, burn down businesses and homes, loot their businesses. They actually imprisoned many of the Tulsa family community in internment camps. This is all not in your history books, but it's all fact-checkable information. And so after it was bombed from the sky and burned down in one day, on June 1st of 1921, it was then rebuilt years later, but then because of integration and because of the lack of group economics, it was not able to sustain and thrive to what it once was in its most prominent day. So here's some cool things, important things about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the example of Black Wall Street. My fund, our fund, with our over 10,000 partners who have bought interest, shares in our company, right? So our company, you can buy shares and interest in our company, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, not on any stocks exchange. All you got to do is go to tulsa-real-estate-fund.com. You must buy and invest in at least 10 shares at $50 per share or a minimum investment of $500, right? And then our investors are due their returns over this long-term investment in our fund, right? When I say long-term, we're talking about there's a 1-year hold, dividends pay out upon profitability. But when you're talking about developing commercial real estate, we are a private lender. We lend capital. So we give 1-year loans, 2-year loans, 3-year loans. We're an equity partner. We buy apartment complexes. We buy office spaces. We develop real estate. Over 10,000 of us have done it together. And our fund has raised about $8.8 million in capital. The stabilized valuation of our assets is close to $11 to $14 million. So we have a future appreciated value in our fund, and we are working our way towards cash flow and profitability as we build up these assets. Today's topic, and I'm going to ask those on my Instagram, if you want to hear more of this, please go over to Tulsa Real Estate Fund, where we're streaming live. You can continue this live stream. I'm signing off. I'll see you tonight. But if you want to be a part of this particular podcast and live stream, you must go to Tulsa Real Estate Fund in order to tune in. Peace. I'm out. So guys, for those who are watching and with me now, what's so important about Tulsa Real Estate Fund in this example is that we got to see how a community of entrepreneurs came together, but it took about 20 years to build up 36 square blocks of homes and businesses. Infrastructure, we call it. And so with me as the visionary to this fund, I thought about this fund after Freddie Gray uprising in Baltimore in 2015. And I initially founded, and the inspiration God gave me, the universe gave me for this fund, was to help create an infrastructure, help create an investment vehicle, help create something physical and tangible that could help us build a Black Wall Street in real life. So I thought about it. Black Wall Street could not have been impacted if there was not leading entrepreneurs who were syndicators, organizers, facilitators of a development model to start to build this community. We need organizations. We need more than ideas. We need real organizations, real companies, real enterprise, real economic infrastructure. This fund is just step one of a 20 to 30 year plan. Towards the end of this month, I'm going to be rolling out a 5 to 10 year vision for our community to help us bridge the wealth gap. I'll be announcing that towards the end of this month. A real practical plan to stimulate and bridge the wealth gap in our community. So when I think about Tulsa, Oklahoma, tonight's topic of Tref-Talks Tuesdays is that Black Wall Street was not built in a day. As an entrepreneur that has built a multi-million-dollar enterprise over the last 15 plus years, I have been through all types of ups, downs, failures, obstacles, trial, error, hires, fires, compliance, treasury, administration, foreclosures, short sales, financing, hard money loans, all the ails of entrepreneurship and legacy building. We must be mature enough as a community to understand there's certain things that we know and we've experienced, and there's some things that we don't even know we don't know. And if you've never been a part of a community development in your real life, if you've never been a part of running a multi-million-dollar business, if you've never been a part of enacting and leading group economics in real life, we have to be a little more observant, a little more patient, and a little more practical and mature about how we see these plans come to fruition. If we took ourselves back to 1905 or so, when O.W. Gurley bought his first 40 acres of land. So O.W. Gurley is, just call him young Jay-Morrison, or I mean, he would be young then, but you know, you get it, right? So Jay-Morrison is young O.W. Gurley, either way. So O.W. Gurley comes from Mississippi, like Jay-Morrison came from New Jersey, and goes to Tulsa town like, you know what? I want to build something for my community. I'm about to grab 40 acres. But then O.W. Gurley like, damn, I can't do this by myself. I'm going to need J.W. Stafford and a few others to help develop this 40 acres. I know I can make a decent living for myself without the assistance of anybody. That's a fact. But I know to bridge the wealth gap, to repair my community, to restore our community, to stop gentrification, to be able to have a massive impact, I know I can't do it by myself. I'm not that great. I'm not one-man band. I am just a tool in a vessel, right? It takes all of us. It's group economics. So O.W. Gurley gets with a bunch of entrepreneurs and is like, yo, let's all chip in. Here's a vision for us to build out this 40 acres and to build more on Black Wall Street, right? What wasn't even called Black Wall Street down, but it's like, yo, we got to own our own. Mind you, slavery just ended in 1865. This is 1905. You talking about 40 years after enslavement, Ku Klux Klan running around, vacancy tactics, Jim Crow law, peonage, sharecropping, convict leasing system, all these things are just being in place. I mean, where black people were being locked up for being homeless. After they were kicked off their plantations, they were locking them back up and calling it convict leasing. This is in real life. So under all this duress and stress of the Jim Crow South, these black entrepreneurs are like, yo, we got to do for self. We got to build our own. We don't like this Trump-like environment, and we want to do something for ourselves. There's no way that our ancestors, our forefathers and foremothers, could have built a community called Black Wall Street that we all hashtag, that we all pay homage to, that we all pay tribute to and salute. There's no way they could have built Black Wall Street in one day or 1 year. Rome wasn't built in a day or a year, neither was Black Wall Street. Neither will the revitalization of Black Wall Street through enterprises like the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. As a fund manager, and taking my fund manager hat off, as a servant leader to the community, as a brother, as just a regular OJ, like a black man that cares about his community in real life and has proven it year after year for several years. It is concerning that our community has an expectation of building something substantial in an insubstantial or unsubstantial amount of time. You just can't build up real infrastructure, real assets, the kind of things that we need, the processes, the systems, testing it all out, the beta tests, the functionality. We can't restore ourselves how we say we want to restore ourselves if our expectations are unrealistic and we expect it to be done overnight. In the last year and a half, since June 1st, remember the Tulsa Real Estate Fund launched the IPO on June 1st, on the anniversary of the Black Wall Street bombing, on 2018 on June 1st, we launched our fund and began to raise capital, then begin to responsibly deploy capital, then begin to build out the rest of the infrastructure of the company, and then begin to develop some of our opportunities, lend to private investors, and be able to grow the fund and do something as a pioneering company, meaning no one else has done this before, ever. Right? In our generation, the previous generation, or the one before that, the closest thing is Marcus Garvey in 1919, which is a couple years before the Black Wall Street bombing. And so for our company, and mind you, this is no defensiveness, this is all about building. Because I want to build, I really want to solve the problems in real life. I want to look back in 5, 10, 20 years and say, we did that. We did what our ancestors showed us we could do. We didn't just talk about it. We didn't make an attempt. We actually pulled it off. So in 1 year, if we're able to help a black man, investor, developer, as a partner, acquire a 98-unit apartment complex in a small inner city like Macon, Georgia, that's progress. And a year and a half, if we're able to fund a black woman on 14 units in Lake Charles, Louisiana, on acquiring and developing 14 units in real life. We did that as a fund. Not Jay-Morrison did that. We did that. This is the spirit of Black Wall Street. This is the spirit of the 36 acres, the 36 square blocks, over 2,000 homes and businesses. This is the spirit. And not only is it the ethos of Black Wall Street, it's also a practical application of group economics and real infrastructure to lend and fund another black woman on her application of 7 units of development of post-Katrina property in New Orleans, to fund another black investor, a black man here in Atlanta, on a single-family residential fix and flip, 100% financing, to fund another black investor in Nashville on his fix and flip, to take assets that we already had under management as black investors of 28 units of student housing here in Atlanta and be able to refinance those assets, to go out to a middle-class town like Bridgewater, New Jersey, and go acquire and develop a fix and flip in Bridgewater, New Jersey, to go to Ohio, Cincinnati, and offer a blanket loan to another black investor and be able to finance as a private equity partner his opportunity. It's not the biggest fund in the world. We have not yet in a year and a half been able to, mind you, all these, every single investment and every loan is still outstanding. These are 1-year loans. Some of them are longer. This is a 3 to 5 year hold on our apartment complex. We can't expect to build wealth through real estate and restore our community. The only way that, if we're developing real estate as a fund, we're going to see profits through mortgages and mortgage fees, through our private lending. We're going to see profits once our investors pay off our loans, which may take anywhere from 6 months to 12 months to 2 years, right? You got to give people time to pay their mortgages and develop their real estate if we want to develop the community. You can't loan someone money and expect it all back in 3 months and expect to make a profit. You have to make profit off the interest of the actual mortgage, right? It takes time. Real estate and wealth is not going to be created if we don't have time. Black Wall Street is not going to be built if we don't give ourselves some time. Developing 7 units in New Orleans, not far from the French Quarters, a property that was abandoned after Katrina, is going to take time for these investors. To see the maturity and the value-add opportunity of 98-unit apartment complex is going to take a few years. So we're going to get some cash flow in the meanwhile, but we may not see profitability off that full investment until 3 years. But we're seeing appreciation of the asset, we're seeing community impact, and we're owning something together. And we're owning something together for what many of us would call our discretionary income or savings or investments, or capital we would have blew on Black Friday or Christmas or Valentine's Day or vacations or ancillaries. So the goal of our quest to rebuild this modern day 21st century Black Wall Street is for us to come together and get past being petty and impatient and say, hey, what if we all chipped in enough that we can afford to lose, nothing that's going to break the bank or drive us crazy, but what if we all chipped in a little something, and through that little something together went out and did a bunch of big something over time? What could we get accomplished from 1905 to 1921, or 16 years? If we all invested in a model like the Tulsa Real Estate Fund that has transparent books, transparent audits, transparent filing, right? These kind of open communications. If we all invested and said, and mind you, we're not a 16-year fund, but imagine if we had a 16-year fund. Imagine if we all put up $500, $1,000, $10,000 and let it work in the community for 16 years, from 1905 to 1921. What will we get accomplished then when we're all approaching building Black Wall Street from a realistic, realistic perspective, where we call it over-delivering but under-promising, right? If we all maturely got past being petty and impatient and say, you know what? We want to see this come to life. We want to be the new O.W. Gurleys and J.B. Staffords of the world. Let's all come together collectively. Let's hold checks, controls, and accountability to make sure that leadership and management are doing the right things by what we're supposed to do, which we do under my leadership. I'm the custodian and fiduciary of the fund. I make sure that we are at best handling our business and making sure that we are being as communicative with the crowd as possible, our partners, making sure we're being in compliance as possible, making sure there's clear checks and balances, process, procedures, controls, administrative, all that. And it's not been perfect in our first year, as I wouldn't expect any business to be. I don't think O.W. Gurley's business was probably ran perfectly his first year, year and a half. But over 16 years, how could we as a community and as a collective perfect this model? That's what I'm very, very excited about and very intrigued about, is not getting off one real estate fund. I mean, real estate funds are created every single day. But a Black-owned real estate crowdfund, a Reg A Tier 2 fund with a $50 million market cap, they are not created every day. To my knowledge, there's not been one created since the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. There has not been one created before the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. This is a grand opportunity for us to shine and show out. This is our shot. But I want to remind my social media supporters and followers, our TREF partners, our YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other supporters and followers, that if we approach this with only skepticism, if we approach this only with hurry, if we approach this with the microwave mentality, as it has to be done fast, we are setting ourselves up for an epic fail. And we are really wasting our time, and we're honestly unaligned. The alignment is, how can we chip in together to do more for our community through private lending, direct acquisition and development, through joint ventures, partnerships, gap funding, construction funding, blanket loans, mezzanine financing, commercial acquisitions, residential acquisitions, and supporting or stopping gentrification, or participating at least in balancing out the gentrification happening in our communities and providing more opportunity for minority developers and investors all throughout the country. It's doable. The model is proven. That's the fun part. Is how do we now take a proven model and continue to scale it and perfect it? That's how you grow a business. Is looking at the first phase, the beta test, and saying, hey, does that work? But where are the kinks at? How can we improve? What can we do differently? How can we automate it? How can we systemize it? How can we operationalize it a little better? Then you get those things out and keep tweaking and increasing the model. But imagine if we've done what we've done in progress this first 18 months or less. Imagine what we can do in 16 to 18 years of diligent, intentional work. That's what I want you all to be excited about. Like, imagine that real timeline. Just to give you some context, in 2014, 2015, I thought about this concept of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. We're now approaching 2020, going on our year and a half. But it was 4 years of conception and inception of idea and due diligence to bring it to life. Our sister company at Jay-Morrison Academy, I thought about that company in November of 2013, was an inception of idea to duplicate myself through real estate and wealth education through online trainings. Now, January 8th of 2020 will be the 6-year anniversary of the Jay-Morrison Academy, having made the Inc. 500 2 years in a row, having enrolled nearly 100,000 students, all from inception, November 2013, just a 6-year run. I believe in the power of thoughts becoming things. I believe in the power of being a visionary. I believe in creating economic institutions. I've been doing them in my real life. Several multi-million-dollar businesses have been created under my leadership and my management. And I believe in what we can grow with more talent, because I'm not the smartest man in all the rooms. So we are, again, operationalizing our business, and we have been as an organization hiring more experienced and more expert partners and staff. It's about getting the smartest people, the most people that align with your core values, and getting the best people in the organization so the organization can grow. So for me, I'm looking at, okay, this is what we've done year one of where we're at. Black Wall Street can't be done in a day. So I can imagine O.W. Gurley, his first 2 years with that first 40 acres in Tulsa Town, scratching his head like, damn, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this work? We have nothing but raw land. We have a raw chessboard. to looking back in 16 years to 1921 before the bombing and seeing over 2,000 homes and businesses built off an initial inception of an idea. If we can't be visionaries like that as a community, we are not giving ourselves a fair shot at true restoration, at true repair, at true community revitalization. And so I want to implore you all, again, as your brother, not just a fund manager and CEO of this fund, but as a community advocate and activist, as a black man that cares about the restoration of our community, as a human being that cares about those least amongst us. Our fund is not only for black or African American or African descent investors. We have investors of all walks of life, all ethnicities, all colors, who believe in, one, the mission and purpose of our fund, but who also believe in the opportunity to take advantage of some of the unique opportunities that we get across our brand from a real estate perspective because of our unique influence in the real estate industry. We get different types of opportunities and a pipeline of investment opportunities, which I'll be rolling out some new ones in the next week or so, some new developments we have on the way. But we get those because of our unique positioning in the market. So we're a very, very uniquely set fund because of our track record in the community, because of our sister company, the Jay-Morrison Academy, and its presence in wealth education and real estate, because of our corner classes, because of our community activism, because of the viral nature of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, because of our historic nature being the first black-owned fund. We are in a unique position. If you are an entrepreneur, you read, or you're not, but you read entrepreneur books or videos or whatever, to be one of the only companies of your demographic in the marketplace is such a unique opportunity. I'm telling you all. If we can just be a little patient and we can have some vision and be steadfast, what this company and this franchise of companies can be in the next 5 to 10 to 16 years, it can be well beyond 36 square blocks of over 2,000 homes and businesses. Well beyond. I mean, we literally can have our own towns, might have our own state, might have our own territory. I mean, you cannot. 16 years ago, I just turned 39 years old, not even 2 weeks ago. 16 years ago, I was 13? 16 years, is that 13? Yeah, no, excuse me. 16, I was 23, pardon me, I'm not that young. 16 years ago, I was 23 years old. At 23 years old, I had just come home from a year and a half in prison, was on intense supervision parole. I knew nothing about real estate. I knew nothing about private lending, nothing about acquisitions, owned no assets, had 3 felonies, no college education at 23 years old. Look at how the universe, how God, how the world works through intentionality, through purpose, through sacrifice, determination, and discipline, and focus. Look at what I've been able to accomplish, who I've been able to come to become, and just some of the accomplishments of what one person can do with an organization and supporting staff in 16 years. From Jay Morrison at 23, I'm selling you on 16 years. I'm selling you on future. I'm selling you on vision. 16 years from now, I'm 54 years old, God willing. So imagine if Jay Morrison raw off the streets with no college education, still sagging his pants, still doing street shit at 23 years old with no focus, still trapping in the streets. From 23 to 39 can become the CEO and founder of the first black-owned real estate crowdfund in the history of America, CEO and founder of the Inc. 500 top 10 educational company in the country, the Jay-Morrison Academy, 2-time best-selling author, NBC TV personality, first African-American man hired by Prominent Properties, Sotheby's International Realty, and have managed and owned over $20 million of assets, businesses, real estate, etc. From 23 to 39, what can we all do together from me being 39 today to 54 years old, or you being whatever age you are today plus 16? What can we really get done? Like past pettiness and past being impatient. with real intentionality on this wave, on this vibrations, in this economic age, in this information age, what could we really get done in 16 years with focus past pettiness and impatience? How much could we really accomplish with a unified, sophisticated, transparent, and regulated economic model and vehicle? How many funds could we have? How many assets could we own? How many minority developers and investors could we have funded? How many joint ventures could we have? How many blocks could we own? How many legacy centers and communities could we have resurrected? You have to one, believe in a vision and a desired destination. We have the directions to get to our desired destination. We're not missing a blueprint any longer. This is not theory. It's just work. The theory has been proven. The talk has been made reality. The thoughts have become things. Tulsa Real Estate Fund is thoughts becoming things. Tulsa Real Estate Fund is thoughts having become physical, tangible assets and things. So if we can do it once, as pioneers and trailblazers with no blueprints, with no directions, what can we do with the larger desired destination with directions, with discipline, past impatience and pettiness, with pure determination to get to our desired destination and our end result? I'm motivating, hopefully, and I'm selling the community at large, selling you on our future. I'm selling you on solutions. I'm selling you on results. The result is, see, here's where, to be frank with you, not in all cases, every one of my investment partners, including myself, has a right to know what the hell's up with our dividends. When are we getting paid? That's an honest, respectable question to ask. Now, there's a sector, whether it be our investors or non-investors, who every time they ask me about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, the first thing they say, has investors got paid yet? As if it's some spooky question, as if investors are not going to get paid, as if this is some scheme or some poorly ran business, or as if that is the priority of our fund. For some, it may be. Profits are very important for any investment vehicle. But what's interesting is that very few investors say, how much progress have you made towards resurrecting a Black Wall Street model? How much progress have you made for economically empowering other minority investors and developers? How much progress have you made in improving the capital balances and the assets on your books for the portfolio? No one's asking the real pertinent questions of, are you guys on track for executing a real purposeful vision within this company? Don't tell me that an 8% preferred return or a $40 return on a $500 investment is the most pressing thing on your mind for all of what you consume and all of what you spend in your day-to-day life, when our community is in last place facing a $12 trillion wealth gap. So, and maybe it is, and maybe we're unaligned. Again, as a fund manager, investments are certainly, and investment returns and dividends are certainly important. We're very transparent about it. We talk about it all the time. But if that's all the question of what you want to ask, and you're not really asking, I can say, hey, everyone got paid. If I said that, you then would go, well, what about this? Because many of us are asking out of scrutiny. We're asking out of fear of progress. Sometimes when you lose so long, you don't know how to win. I understand what winning looks like. I understand what progress looks like. So what I'm saying is that as a community and as the fund manager, I encourage all transparency, all questions. We have a clear audit on financials on sec.gov. You can go through our website as well. That's the fun part, is being an organization that is heavily scrutinized as the first Black-owned real estate crowdfund and having your numbers and your books together. That's the fun part. That you go through our books and every dollar is accounted for. So it's not a question of the responsibility of our treasury or our fiduciary and custodianship over the fund. That's not the issue. The issue is, what are we all really in it for? Are we in it to play and talk about stuff that's not really matter to us? Or are we in it to say, can we prove this, what works? And now, proving that it works, can we scale it? Can we grow it? And can we have more impact on our community than we have in our previous years and previous generations? I'm just about progress is the bottom line. And in understanding a realistic expectation for progress, that Black Wall Street was not built in a day. The Legacy Center and all these micro details to developing a 30,000 square foot building is not done in a day. The micro details to stabilizing a 98 unit apartment complex is just not done in a day. Sometimes isn't done in a year. But the fact is, are you on path? Are you on pace? Are you proficient enough to get it done? That's the question. It's not about just the when, or it's just not about the if. It's really just about a matter of the when. And if we get it done, something that hasn't been done in multiple generations, if we get it done in 16 years, like 1905 to 1921 Black Wall Street, are you really mad if it took us 16 years to build 36 square blocks of homes and businesses that were controlled by the first Black-owned real estate crowdfund and managed by the first real estate crowdfund and its thousands of partners throughout the country? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. And I'm not pitching a 16-year play, but in reality, in leveling our expectations, if we literally built the Black Wall Street, 36 square blocks, over 2,000 homes and businesses, and it took us 16 years to do it. When you look at our current condition today of Detroit, of Atlanta, of Newark, New Jersey, of Cleveland, of LA, of Inglewood, of Houston, Dallas, Miami, Orlando, you name it, Milwaukee, all over, Camden, New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, everywhere, Syracuse, Jersey City, everywhere, Baltimore, DC. Look at that current community condition. And if your investment in Tulsa Real Estate Fund of minimum $500, $1,000, $2,500, $10,000, if you didn't see that $500 or $2,500 for 16 years, but in 16 years, a thriving community of over 36 square blocks of over 2,000 homes and businesses was rectified and was realized based on your fractional investment, and you own shares in all of that future 16-year Black Wall Street off your $500,000, $25,000, $10,000, whatever investment, $40,000 investment. Would you then be mad if 16 years later it took for the realization of a 21st century thriving community to really exist that you chipped in on? That's what we got to ask ourselves. What are we really in it for? And level expectations to understand that Black Wall Street was not built in a day. That's what I'm in it for. Everyone won't be aligned with this mission. But I believe there are enough of us that are not petty, that are not impatient, that are not looking to pick things apart, that are not looking to procrastinate, these are not P's, but do understand progress and prosperity in a real functional model. Like, I'm giving us like the real game. I'm giving us real regulation, real transparency. I'm giving us real accountability. I'm the accountable, responsible party. I'm the custodian or fiduciary of the fund. I accept that responsibility. Some people look at it as a good thing, and I guess in its own way it's a good thing, but sitting in his seat, it is a lot of responsibility and accountability. And it is something that I signed up for, because if I don't do it, someone has to be it and do it. Or we own no group economics, cooperative economic fund. So it's not just about management or control or power or CEO and leadership and swag. It's about being a servant leader that's willing to step up and be a visionary and get past talking and get into technical, practical application. That's it. We got to get it done. We don't get it done, our babies and our babies' babies are in the same crap that we're in. And we're out blaming them and they for why they didn't come save us, when we had all the opportunity to get past our petty differences and our impatience and save ourselves. That's it. Stop waiting on somebody to do for you what you can and should do for yourself. So I want to implore all of you who have not invested with us, and not just investing with us, partnered with us, own equity with us, own shares with us. Pull out your phone, pull out your notepad. Think about where you're planning on spending money that's going to fly out of your household and never come back. Money you will never see again after this holiday season, after this weekend. And I want you to consider partnering with us, owning 10 shares of our company by registering at tulsa-real-estate-fund.com, TULSA, real-estate-fund.com. You will create an account. You will self-subscribe your income and your net worth and all those things. It's very easy to walk through. And consider making an investment of at least owning 10 shares in our company, which will give you fractional ownership of our entire portfolio. For you and your family today will be apartment building owners fractionally. You'll be commercial real estate owners fractionally in our future assets of our portfolio. And invest with us today a minimum of $500. I challenge many of you who know 1,000 going to fly out the door, 5,000 going to fly out the door, to invest that discretionary capital into our investment vehicle where you'll own shares of our company, you'll have transparency, reporting, you'll make social impact, own a piece of our portfolio, and be a part of the history that we have made and are continuing to make. I implore and I encourage you all to go to tulsa-real-estate-fund.com and invest with us today. Simple. Be about the work you talk about. And for those who've already invested, if you know you got some money, you're ready to blow money fast too, or you see the progress of the Legacy Center, our founders, and we haven't even announced the details of the Legacy Center yet. Like, it's going to be state of the art. Founders Wall, over 8,000 of our founders, right, our initial investors, over 8,000 names will be memorialized at the Legacy Center in real life. You'll walk through and see a family name highlighted on the wall. So I want to encourage many of you all, though, who believe in our mission and who believe in the financial opportunity of this fund. I'm going to say for most investments, we're looking at anywhere from a 1 to 3 year hold. There's a 1 year lockup on all fund investments. Then dividends are due quarterly, but we only can pay dividends once all profits on all our portfolio has turned full profitability. We can't pay dividends on assets that have not fully materialized or matured. If we paid you early dividends out of other money, that would be a Ponzi scheme, and that's what we don't want. The capital that we pay out to our investors must come from profits from our investments. Our investments take time. Black Wall Street was not born or made in a day. Neither will Tulsa Real Estate Fund. But with diligence and determination and clear directions, we will build something substantial for ourselves. I'm a very intentional person. I get to it. I try my best. I try my hardest. I'm not greedy. I deferred my salary the whole first year of the fund. Didn't take on a salary the whole first year. As the CEO, I'm not looking for this to be a personal piggy bank. That shows in our financial records. But I am looking for an opportunity to give all of us the opportunity to chip in together and make some progress together as a group. Group economics, cooperative economics. Let's cooperate together. I'm just doing my part, contributing my talents to the community at large and to those who care about the restoration of the urban community, the revitalization of the Black community, those who care about equitable investing, those who want to be fractional owners in our portfolio. Maybe you don't align with the mission so much, but you wouldn't mind owning shares of a fund at $500 minimum, which is one of the lowest industry standards in the Reg A Tier 2 space for real estate crowdfunds. So I want to implore everyone to go to tulsa-real-estate-fund.com and partner with us today. Me, my wife, half of our company, our team, our staff, are over 10,000 partners. Let's link up. Black Wall Street in real life. But it won't be done in a day. But I believe we can do it. So I want to thank you guys for, again, being part of this episode of Tref Talks. You'll see on our website, tulsa-real-estate-fund.com, there's an email. If you have questions and want support, you can email our support. Our team's in the office during business hours, Monday through Friday. We can get back to you with any questions you may have. First, go to our website and look at the frequently asked questions. Before you type a quick question, do your research on the website and look at the frequently asked questions. Read up on the fund. Make an informed decision. Read our operating agreement. Read our subscription agreement. It's hella long, but take your time and read through it. Be informed. Watch some of our old Tulsa Real Estate Fund podcasts, Tulsa Talks, Tref Talks. I want you all to be informed investors. You don't have to just make an emotional decision, but I do want you to understand the spirit of our fund, who I am as the manager, and what we look and hope to accomplish, and what we have already accomplished. This is just the beginning. This is a year and a half in a very, very long play and vision. Imagine where we could be in 16 years, the same time it took to build the Black Wall Street that was burned down, 1905 to 1921. 16 years, I believe we can have substantially more than 36 square blocks of 2,000 homes and businesses in this day and age with our technology, with our ingenuity, with our hustle, with our grit, if we come together past our petty differences. They were forced to come together because of Jim Crow laws and because of segregation. They had to come together. See, we have integration and we don't have to come together. So we can implement our pettiness and our impatience and our peculiar little ways of how we deal with each other. But for those of us who are willing to be a little more intentional and aligned, let's do what we can do to build and work together. I'm happy to be a partner with you. Happy to be a servant to the community. And I look forward to creating more assets, more legacy, telling more stories, funding more deals, acquiring more real estate, developing more real estate, creating more business opportunities. We've employed so many Black vendors and contractors from our developments as well, creating so many jobs. This is just an amazing opportunity and time. Super excited, pumped up. Can't wait for the Legacy Center on the way. If you want to learn more about the Legacy Center, go to legacycenter.com. That's legacycenter.com. It's going to be awesome. That's all I got to say. Join the email list. Look forward to seeing y'all, man. Love y'all. Jay Morrison, the historic Tulsa Real Estate Fund founder and CEO, signing out. See you next week, 6 p.m. Eastern. Tref Talks Tuesdays. For any questions, DM us on the gram, Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Follow us on YouTube, Tulsa Real Estate Fund LLC. Facebook page, Tulsa Real Estate Fund LLC. Make sure you go to the website, tulsa-real-estate-fund.com. Create a free account, right? Start reading up and researching, and then take action and be a part of the history we're making and history we made. Thank you guys. Love you. Peace. See you next time.